Hey you guys! Welcome back to my channel. First of all, let me just say we are using regular old lighting in the kitchen, not my filming lights, because I didn't want to drag all the tripods out here because I felt like that was a recipe for disaster. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys my all-time favorite cookie recipe. I am a kind of girl who likes to have a cookie or two at night with a hot coffee or a hot tea. But I find myself, when I have like a full batch of cookies made, I find myself eating a lot of them, and I didn't want to be at it anymore. So what I did was I started making a double batch of cookie dough, preparing it into the size cookies I wanted, and freezing it in the freezer. So I hope you guys enjoy this type of video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So usually when I'm baking, I don't use this many dishes, but I mean sometimes you just gotta. So usually how I do things is in 3 different steps. I like to cream up my sugars with the butter in the largest mixing bowl, which is just right here. And then once all of that is creamed together, I combine my dry ingredients. So the ingredients you're gonna need in the first bowl are a half a cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 2 eggs. So all of that is in those 3 little bowls right here. And then in the next section of bowls, we have 2 cups of flour in the big bowl, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking soda. Then in this big bowl, there currently is nothing. I'm gonna add a cup of butter. To that butter, I'm going to add the 2 sugars that I have over there in the bowl. And then after that is all creamed together, I'm gonna add in the eggs and the vanilla extract. Once that is complete, I'm gonna slowly sift in the flour, salt, and baking soda to form the consistency of the dough. The other thing we're gonna need is chocolate chips. The recipe calls for 2 cups. Now keep in mind, this recipe makes 48 cookies. I like to freeze my dough so I don't have to constantly make cookies. I like to have a nice variety of chocolate chip cookie in the fridge. Okay, this is where the working out kind of comes in handy. So what I do is I take this, I scrape off all of the mixture from the sides just to make sure everything is incorporated, and it is, so we're good to go. And I slowly start putting in some of this. Can I just say, the less you put in each time, the easier it is to incorporate it all. So you're gonna have really good, smooth cookie mixture when you're done. Yeah, I mean, like my mom and my nan just use their KitchenAid mixers, but of course I don't have one because they're so dang expensive. But if anyone wants to get me one, feel free. I'll never say no. So. And just like that, with the magic of editing, we have cookie dough, minus the chocolate chips. So the recipe says you need at least 2 cups of chocolate chips. So these are the Nestle Toll House 100% real semi-sweet chocolate chips. I do not, under any circumstances, measure out my chocolate chips when I make cookies, folks. I just eyeball it until I'm satisfied. So I usually start by throwing in a handful and just folding them into the dough. I mean, I don't go crazy because, I mean, some people don't like chocolate chips. I do. And the whole point of a cookie, to get that sweet craving. And then, I mean, I just keep folding until all of my dough is incorporated in with the chips. And, basically the end goal here is when you fold it over and you keep folding it over, you want to be able to see more chocolate chips in the dough. So I'll just keep going until I'm satisfied. I mean, again, it's entirely up to the person making them. So you can go ahead and prep this by putting it on a cookie sheet with parchment paper and bake it at 350 for 12 to 16 minutes. Today though, I'm gonna package it up and put it in containers to freeze. So let's do that. I have a baking set that comes with lids because it is 30 degrees right now. I'm gonna actually keep this in the fridge for 20 minutes just to let it firm up before I prep it to be frozen. So I've just popped on that lid, which for some reason doesn't want to pop on all the way. But I mean, what? It's not a big deal. It's only going in the fridge. So I just pulled out a tray that I know fits comfortably in my freezer. I then just laid some parchment paper over it. Obviously that's going to fall into the tray. This tray actually has a lid as well, so it's going to be great for stacking all these cookies in. So I'm going to go ahead now and start rolling the dough. To do that, I usually take a teaspoon, just a regular old teaspoon, and scoop out the cookie dough and just lay it on the parchment paper. So let's go. And just like that, we have 12 dough balls. I'm now going to go ahead, put a layer of parchment paper over the top of this and add in a second layer of cookie dough. The best part about this, you guys, is now I can literally pop these out of here, lay them on a cooking sheet, and pop them in the oven, and bam, we have instant cookies without having to make the dough or buy that pre-packaged stuff. Okay guys, so it looks like I'm getting 36 cookies out of this, but personally, as you can tell by my cookie dough ball sizes, they're really big. So I want to show you how I usually make my dough balls. I just literally like scrape out the excess of the teaspoon and then I just ball it up in my hand. I mean, there's only a little bit of cookie dough left. I mean, I could probably get one more dough ball out of it, but shh, I'm gonna eat it and break all of the rules. So they're all in there stacked on top of each other. I'm quite pleased with that actually. I'm just gonna trim off this parchment paper, pop the lid on it, and pop these in the freezer. They fit perfectly on the freezer shelf. Now all I need to do when I bake cookies is take out 3 or 4, put them on a cookie sheet. That way I'm not eating a dozen cookies at a time. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed being in my kitchen with me today, give this video a big thumbs up. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you'll get notified when I post new content. And I will see you all in my next video. I love you guys. Bye!